Hey guys, this is Wyatt Johnson with Homestead Properties, and this is another video in the series about foreclosures in Montana. In this video, I'm going to talk about why you're getting calls and letters from people about your house in foreclosure. Now, what happens is when the foreclosure process is started, the bank has to file a document with the county usually, and those county records are public information. And so there's people that watch those documents to find out who's going into foreclosure so they can get in touch with them. And they usually fall into two camps. They're usually real estate investors, or they're like credit specialists. They're not banks. I don't know what to call them, but they send postcards usually that say, we'll catch you up on your loan and fix your foreclosure, whatever it might be. And I think their game is trying to give you like a second loan to catch up your payments and then make interest off that loan. I don't know. A lot of those guys seem really shady. The ones that I've dealt with or that I've seen other people deal with, the ones I talked to were assholes and they weren't very open. And I've actually never seen it where they worked out a loan and fixed it for the person. Now, there are agencies that do that exact thing, but from what I've seen, they're not sending you postcards. You're going to find them on government websites like HUD or mt.gov, stuff I talk about in another video. So there's definitely good organizations you can work with. They're going to help you with that stuff. But from what I've seen, you're not getting postcards from them. Like Rural Dynamics is a good example of one that will help you with that stuff. And then there's the real estate investors. And these guys are a mix. So that's what I am. Like I buy houses, fix them up and flip them or keep them as rentals or whatever it might be. And there's guys that are a little more shady than others. And it just kind of depends who you get with that stuff, how it's going to work out. But I think a good rule of thumb is if you feel like someone's screwing you over, they're probably screwing you over. And so, get in touch with someone that doesn't make you feel that way, whether it's an attorney or, one of the government agencies that we've talked about. So I send these letters to people in foreclosure because I've seen quite a few, I said actually 3 or 4 people just walk away from their houses and they're going to let the bank have it. One guy even told me, he called them and said, you can have my house. I don't want to make the payments anymore. I don't want it. Bank still has to go through the same process and it actually costs them more money. And the house usually gets broken into and beat up and stuff. So I try to find these people to see if they want to sell instead of giving their house back to the bank, because it works out for a good project for me. Now, the thing about the investors that get in touch with you is those guys actually can do stuff that other people can't sometimes, like closing on a house really fast. I've bought houses in 9 days before. When you're running up against a foreclosure deadline, that can really help. And the bank's not willing to work with you and stuff like that. So there actually is some advantages to those guys, as long as you're working with someone that is legitimate and not trying to get one over. Now, one of the drawbacks to this is that if you're getting calls and you're not answering them, these guys are going to keep calling. I know because I do it. A lot of times the people that are walking away from their house are the hardest people to reach. If you just text them and tell them, hey, you're not selling your house, whatever it might be, they'll usually stop. The letters and stuff, I just throw them away. Or, you could tell them that can talk to you if they send you $100. I remember one time I left a 20 on a guy's door because he was going into foreclosure and he wouldn't talk to me. So I left a 20 with a note hoping that he would get back to me. Well, he didn't. And that house ended up going back to the bank. But you could probably get some money out of these guys if you want it. And the way these guys are getting your phone number and address and all that kind of stuff is there's a lot of websites these days that are going to match phone numbers to people and addresses and things of that nature. And so it's not like they're, infiltrating your life and seeing stuff they shouldn't. It's just that a lot of that stuff is more accessible these days with the internet and whatnot. But hopefully that kind of explains why you're getting all the calls, texts, and mail from people interested in your house now that you're in foreclosure.